Hey, Tony Gaskins here, answering a very important question. Why doesn't he want a good woman? Now, I hear this all the time. First, I need you to understand that me explaining men is not excusing men. I'm just trying to bring some clarity to some of the strange things that men do. Now, understand this. Women come in all the time and they say, look, I got a good job. I'm ambitious. I take care of myself. I got my own car. I got my own house. I love God or whatever it may be. It's just like this list of all of these good qualities. And I look around as a man and I see it, and I have a lot of clients that fall into those same categories. But women are wondering, why doesn't he want a good woman? And you look up and you've heard the term be winning. HOEF, be winning. You've heard the term, and you may see sometimes, and you may feel like that. You may see this woman get married who you know she's been all around the block, up and down, left and right. Maybe somebody you went to school with, or it could be a celebrity you see online, and you're like, how are these women getting married? And I'm still single, or I got a man who doesn't even want to do right by me, or I'm going through divorce after divorce. Let me help you understand this from the male perspective. So when you look at a relationship, you have to remember that love is a moral act. So what that means is a man has to have a high level of morals, but not just for a year. This is when you get married, you have to have high morals for a lifetime. Some men may already have a plan that they're going to get a divorce at some point, 10 years, 15, 20 years. Some men go in knowing that they're not going to do this for life, but they're doing this for that season of their life. It sounds crazy. It is crazy. I'm not excusing it. But what you have to realize is that when a man looks over the course of his future, he says, you know what? I hope to live 30 more years, 40 more years, 50 more years. So if I get married, that means that I'm expected to be with that woman until death does us part. But then he asked himself the question, can I be with one woman for the rest of my life? And for a man who has been sexually active and he's been promiscuous and he's been with more than one woman already, that is a tough question to ask, especially if he does not draw on some strength from other places. So me, I draw on the strength and my belief in God, me being a Christian, me living by those values, I draw on that. Not every man has that same belief system, so he may feel alone and he's dependent on himself. And when he has to answer that question, it's hard for him to imagine being able to say yes to the question of, can I be with one woman for the rest of my life? So what you have to realize is that a good woman is also a strong woman. A good woman is a strong woman who has morals and values. She has standards. She has self-respect. She has class. So with this woman is going to require that a man bring his best to the table just like she is doing. So if she is feeding her mind, body, and spirit in a healthy way, you want to make sure that that man is doing the same. If you as a woman are going to go into a relationship with the intention of being 100% faithful, you want that man to be 100% faithful. If you aren't going to be yelling and cursing him out, then you don't want him yelling and cursing you out. So what happens is so many men today are immature because they have not been raised. They've just grown up. So because so many men are immature, so many men lacked a good father figure. So many men lacked a strong mother who raised him to be a king, who raised him to be an upstanding man. so many men had mothers who pampered them because the mom was afraid to offend the son because she didn't want him to run away from her to go live with his dad, that she kissed his butt and she pampered him, she spoiled him, gave him any and everything he wanted, gave him his way. So he was raised to believe that women are his footstool, that women are there for his disposal. So this man is, this is what you have to realize, because a lot of times you look at it and you're like, how is this man choosing that woman? What you have to realize is that just because he's tall, dark, and handsome, just because he has a good job, just because he went to a good school, just because he's a doctor or a lawyer or a millionaire or successful, does not mean that he is a real man. So you have to understand that when you see a man with a woman that is not a good woman, that means that is not a good man. And when you understand that, you will stop feeling like you're losing out on something. Those that you say are winning, are not winning. I wrote a whole chapter about that in my book, Make It Work. They are not winning. Just because you get married don't mean that you've won a prize. What's going on behind the scenes? So when you see this woman who doesn't respect her body, doesn't carry herself with class, she is just everything the opposite of what you are or what you would raise your daughter to be, and she has a husband and it looks like on the outside they're doing amazing. Remember, you cannot see what's going on behind closed doors, and that the reason why he doesn't want a good woman is because he doesn't want to be held accountable. Think about this now. If a woman's standards have been stripped, if her self-worth have been stripped, then guess what? When he cheats, she is going to forgive. When he cheats again, she is going to forgive. When he cheats again, she is going to propose that instead of him cheating, they just bring the other woman into their relationship. Guess what? That is a grown boy's dream. So that is why you see these men today choosing women who you would say is not a good woman, is not a classy woman, is not worth a ring. Those same women, guess what? They're just like the man. They were not raised, they just grew. They just grew up into adult bodies, but they were not raised, they were not taught, and they don't have the same standards and values and morals and belief system about life. So what happens is this woman, and you can't blame the woman because she's lost, hurting, confused, and just looking for love. So we can't look down on her and talk bad about her. And then with the man, I could say you can't blame the man because he wasn't raised right and all of those things. But it comes a point for the man, because we are the one who have to get on one knee. We have to be responsible with our choices and with who we are as a man. It comes a point as a man that even if you weren't raised right, you still know right because you've seen enough of it around you. But these men get to the place to where they don't want any accountability. They don't want any authority. They don't want anybody to tell them what they can and cannot do. So to say you can't sleep with other women, they're not trying to hear that. To say you can't take out your anger on me, you can't be cursing me out and beating on me and verbally abusive and emotionally abusive, they don't want to hear that. And so that is why those type of men choose those type of women, even if those men appear to be good men. Because it's a lot of times women from the outside say, oh, well, this guy over here, this is a good man. I know a good man, and he chose a no good woman. So that ain't the only reason. That ain't the only reason why a man don't want a good woman. It is the reason. And you just don't know that man because you haven't had to lie down with him and live with him and be with him 24/7. but that man is lost, hurting, and confused, and you attract what you are. So just because he has a good job and he may look good to the eye does not mean his inner man has been worked on and has been fixed. And that is why he chooses the type of women that he chooses. And that man will get married to that woman because really he's getting married for the look. Because marriage makes us appear complete. It does. I'm not saying that's what it means, but it makes us appear complete. Even like in recruiting, in professional sports, like they look and they want to know if the athlete is married because it represents stability in the industry. In actors and public figures, a lot of them get married. Have you ever seen a president that's not married? Because marriage represents stability. Even in our own minds, it does not mean that that's what it makes you, because there's a lot of people who are unstable and married, but it represents that. So that's why a lot of men go get married. But those men who don't have character and integrity and they don't want to be held accountable, they marry a woman that looks good, or she may not look good, but that man knows on the inside she won't hold him accountable. She won't make him be faithful or expect for him to be faithful. She will deal with what he gives her, put up with what he gives her, and that's why he chooses her. So the whole purpose of this message is for you to understand. If you are a woman watching this, I want you to understand that if you are not married right now to a good man, don't feel like something is wrong with you just because you see other women getting married who you feel are not good women. Now, you're going to see good women that get married and they just met their husband. They happen to be in the right place, right time. Your time is coming too. But when you see women who you see have thrown their class and self-respect out the window getting married, don't feel like something is wrong with you and that you got to do what they're doing, meaning giving your body on the first night, dropping your standards, giving up everything that you know and love about yourself. Don't feel like you got to change that just because you see these other women getting married. Understand that those women that you would say are not good women are not marrying a real man. Those women are marrying grown boys, and they are going through a whole lot behind closed doors that you would never imagine, or that you may have imagined but you won't allow yourself to believe. But me, I'm on the other side, and eventually one thing happens. Eventually those women who appear to be winning wake up and realize that they're losing. And then they come to find people like me, life coaches, relationship coaches, and they share those stories. And behind closed doors, the stuff that goes on, you would never believe it. You would never believe it because of that man's image in the public. But he thought he had one thing, and then sometimes those women find themselves along the way and realize that they've been bamboozled, that their kindness has been taken for weakness, and that their insecurity and their pain and everything that they're struggling with has been preyed upon by a weak, insecure, lost, hurting, and confused, broken man who was trying to find somebody that is more broke than he is so that he can take advantage and continue to wallow in his ignorance, immaturity, and insecurity. So, hey, I hope that helps answer that question to the young lady that sent that to me. Thank you so much. I'm going to start reading some of these emails from inbox@tonygaskins.com. That's an email address, inbox@tonygaskins.com. You can send a question there if you have a basic question or if it's a longer question. But don't send it if you don't want me to read it on a video. The email address is inbox@tonygaskins.com. Hey, God bless you. We'll talk soon.